everyone, welcome to the show. Today's feature is a very talented Canadian country music recording artist. And you know, when I listened to her voice, I was listening to her song. It feels like I just wanted to enjoy life. And the one thing that I love about Melissa is that she brings to mind our passion for the things that we do, that we have to stay true to ourselves. And so I'm very, very proud to welcome Melissa Endean. Welcome to the show, Melissa. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I'd like to thank my partner, Lisa Warter of Noodlehead Productions for connecting me and Melissa. You are just as beautiful as you are, as I see on YouTube and your video. So I like the hat, of course, everything.
Thank you.
As I was going over your profile and your music, and I'm so glad. I know you took a little bit of a breather and you're back.
Yeah.
And your song, Folsom Prison, is this your comeback song?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, the first single I released was Till We're Dirt, and that was the first single I had released in, I guess, about 5 years. But Folsom Prison, I had actually recorded, about 6 years ago, I want to say. And I recorded it down at Cash Cabin Studios in Nashville, which is the studio owned by John Carter Cash. And it was this project that I was really excited about. And then I just kind of shelved it. And a lot of people were kind of bugging me about it. They're like, when are you going to release that? When are you going to release that? So I guess, yeah, for lack of a better song, that is definitely my comeback song.
That is amazing. I have heard a lot of people say, okay, I put it aside, and then it ends up actually being one of the most highly in-demand songs. Is that true for Folsom, you think? Folsom Prison?
Oh, definitely. I know, I had taken a 5-year hiatus as I had my kids, and I wanted to focus on that when they were little. But the one thing I kept getting requests from fans and friends and family is, when are you going to release Folsom Prison? When are you going to release Folsom Prison? And so I just released it, I guess, at the beginning of October. And so far the response has been amazing. Folsom Prison was originally a song recorded by Johnny Cash. And so a few years ago, I've always felt like a personal affinity for Johnny Cash and his music, which I think is true for so many people. And I really wanted to do a cover of that song. There was no female artist that had done a cover of that song that I had come across. So I thought, wouldn't it be a cool idea to do a cover of that as a female country music artist? And so if I wanted to do it that way, I thought I'll do it right. So I got in touch with John Carter Cash, which is Johnny Cash's son. And I said, hey, could I come down to his studio, Johnny Cash's studio down in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and could we record a cover of it there? And he said, yeah, absolutely, come down. So we actually ended up doing 3 cover songs down there, and that we just kind of recorded live off the floor. And then, yeah, I brought it home, and then I shelved the whole project, and now I'm releasing all the tracks one at a time. So Folsom Prison was the first one that I'm releasing.
How young were you when you started singing?
Oh, very young. Like one of my earliest memories is about being 3 or 4, singing Dolly Parton on a coffee table in front of family and friends. But my grandpa was a professional touring artist, recording artist as well, and he toured with he toured with Johnny Cash, Hank Snow, and so we grew up in this very musical household. So I mean, from the time I think I was like writing my first song at 6, and it was just part of our lives. Other families would, get together on birthdays and things like that, maybe watch a movie. And our tradition was grandpa got the guitar and everybody sang and somebody jumped on keyboard, and that's just what we did.
Wow, really, there's a strong influence of music in the family, and I'm glad you're back, because the world would have missed such a beautiful song. And I read your story about having to raise funds for your music, to fund your production. What do you think is the biggest challenge that you face as a recording artist when you're an independent artist?
The music industry has changed in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, it's better, like things like this. You can do, Zoom sessions, and I've done recording sessions down in Nashville without ever having to fly down there, because you can do so much virtually. But I think the hard part of being an independent artist, which was true 10 years ago and it's true now, is it's hard to break in to the industry, because so much of it is about connections and who you know, and major labels kind of dominate radio still. So it does make it a little bit more difficult to break in that sense. But at the same time, you have a lot more opportunities to build a fan base online and virtually. So it's kind of, there's pros and cons to the industry nowadays, but I definitely think that being an independent artist it's tough to do everything yourself. So
That's true. And performing live, I think independent artists rely a lot on this intimate connection, right? Because that's where
absolutely.
It's hard, but you just keep going. And in your case, for example, I can see you have connections. And who do you think is your biggest supporter or the biggest influence you have?
Well, I was talking to someone yesterday, and they were saying, there's no such thing as an artist who makes it truly independently. It's very much a team effort. Success is built, with a team behind you. And that's true whether you're on a major label or you're an independent artist. It's, you have to surround yourself with family and a circle of people that are going to support you as an artist. So I have a lot of people in my corner who are definitely helping me along the way to do that, from my record label that I'm on, and people like Lisa. Yeah.
Hello there. Oh, wow, look at that. Hi. Maybe. What is your name? Oh, here they are. Well, let's have you on the show. Let me know. I'd love to meet you. So tell me your names.
This one's Emery and this is Mila.
Hello there. How are you both? Are you enjoying Mommy's time with us on the show?
Yes, we love Star Wars in our house.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it.
Okay, go ahead, honey.
Those are the things that make our lives really exciting, when you never expect things to happen.
And you know what? They keep you honest. It was getting ready for this and, doing my hair and makeup and getting my outfit on, and my son's like, "Oh, you look different." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "But in a good way."
Yes. Well, I can see they're your biggest fans. So, okay, there you go. Well, this is a triple treat for our audience. You just didn't meet Melissa, but you met her two beautiful children. So that's what we love about eveRIAthing. The family grows faster than we could expect. Okay, I was just thinking, we were talking about your concerts earlier, Melissa. When we are performing within the community, so you're talking about how many kilometers or miles around you, and you have to have concerts one after the other. Do you look at particularly the timing? Like, okay, I've just had this concert this month. What if you're invited right away and it's 2 weeks after that?
At this stage of my career, because I'm still kind of a developing artist, I'm open to anything. I like performing more as opposed to less, and just kind of taking the time to continue connecting with fans and developing my fan base. It can get a little bit challenging sometimes when I'm in the same city. So I try and, not do too many back to back, but at the same time, continue engaging with fans.
So Melissa, you mentioned this on your website. I also had a lot of fear about really establishing myself as a country music artist, because at that time I was nervous that as an openly gay artist, I would be rejected in the country music industry. And I think that's why you put your music on hold right now, right? But then, of course, the world has progressed. So let me know how it felt then. And I know right now we're very open about it, and we have a lot of people who really make us happy because they're gay. So tell me about that transition in your life and how you persevered to actually be yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it was challenging. When I was in my early 20s and I was establishing myself as an artist, my passion always has been in country music, kind of Americana folk. I grew up in a country music household. but I always knew that at that time, the industry, there was really no place for it. There was no space for a gay artist whatsoever. So I did a little bit, but it was the thought of having to pursue a career in something and then potentially having success in that genre and then having to hide a key part of my identity. It just felt it was a battle that I didn't want to have. It's hard for a gay person. I think you spend so much of your life trying to come to terms with this and then coming out. It's common to say, you'll hear gay people say, you don't just come out once, you come out over and over again. And it just wasn't a battle I wanted to do. So I kind of went the other way and I pursued a career in the pop genre where I kind of established myself as really kind of this punk indie rock artist that sang about being openly gay, which was fun and at least I could be open about it. But what I wanted to be doing was country. And when I had gone down around the same time period, I went down to Nashville to do this Johnny Cash project. And at that time, I was reading the biography of Shelley Wright. And now Shelley Wright was a very successful female artist, I think in the late 90s, early 2000s. And she came out as openly gay. And in her autobiography, she writes about how it just absolutely sewered her career. And she battled with a lot of mental health issues as a result. And it was probably not great timing for me to read that while I was in Nashville pursuing this country music project. And I remember reading it and just having this total sense of dread wash over me. I was down there with my partner at the time. And I remember telling her, don't tell anyone that we're together. Just tell everyone that you're my friend. And it was just a terrible feeling. And so when I came back to Canada after doing the project, I think just that sense of dread and fear, I put it aside and just kind of said, oh, I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it. And it just, that break kept getting longer and longer. And then of course the world changed. And, coming out now as a country music artist, there are some artists that have kind of paved the way, that Shelley Wright being one of them. And I think that our world has changed enough that that there's space for that. There's space for an artist to be openly gay in the country music world without it completely destroying their career. There's still backlash, of course. Even when I came back into the industry, which wasn't that long ago, it was about April of this year. And I still was a bit on the fence about, I won't hide it, but do I openly broadcast it? Like, do I make that, part of my brand as an artist? And then I thought, what's the point of hiding it? My one thing that I said to myself, if I go back into the industry at this point, I'm going to do it honestly. And so when I came out, I immediately got so much positive feedback. I was having people, industry professionals down in Nashville, contacting me being like, we love this. Thank you so much for coming out. This is amazing. I had CBC, a producer, contacted me and was like, can we do, we want to have you on the show. And one of the producers I was talking to actually said to me, in the pre-interview that we were doing, and she was like, I never really liked country music. Like, I've always kind of not liked it because it is such a conservative genre. And she's like, you're making me love it. Like, I want to listen to country music now. So I think coming out, one thing that I'm proud of is that, people who may not have traditionally had anything to do with the genre, because it is so, stereotypically, it's been quite conservative traditionally, is that it's allowing that genre to reach, a greater group of people than maybe it would have before, which is amazing because it's, there's some really beautiful aspects to the music that I love and I wanted to share with people. And so I just love that, by coming out, it's opening the door for a lot of people who might not otherwise have given that genre a chance.
That's very true. And you're actually speaking for so many people. You're using your voice literally and figuratively, right, to represent a population that otherwise would stay quiet. After you came out, how has that affected the way you wrote or the way you tweaked versions of songs?
Um, it's definitely like I feel a lot more free and honest in how I'm writing. I feel, prior I would write, I'd change pronouns or I wouldn't, write about certain subject matter. But since coming out, I feel like I have the freedom to do that. I went through a breakup recently, and so I wrote a song that was called Dear Girl. Previously, I never would have thought to do that, or I would have done it in a way that I tried to hide it in the lyrics. And now I just am open about it. I'm like, yeah, I had a breakup with a woman.
I love the write-ups that are out there about you, and it just says here, unapologetic passion that is reflected in a collection of gut-wrenchingly honest and emotional pure tracks that speak to the potential of neo-traditional and outlaw country. I love that phrase, right?
Yeah.
You never have to apologize for who you are.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm trying to do with my music is just be open and honest and unapologetic about who I am as an artist.
Describe your typical day, Melissa.
Well, very busy, very, very, very busy with not a lot of downtime, which is okay. Being a working single mom of two young kids, I knew coming back into the music industry was going to be quite challenging in certain ways, very rewarding in others. But definitely my typical day starts very, very early around 5 a.m. and I get up and, get the kids out the door ready for school. And then I work on music and writing and things like that. Before having to rush out and pick them up from school and bring them home and do dinner and bedtime and all of those things. And then in between that, I try and fit in, meetings with people in the industry or interviews like this. And during the summer, I actually went on tour and I did a tour of Vancouver Island and I brought them with me, which was a whole interesting experience because kids in the car for a long time periods is challenging. But I actually had my dad come with me to help out so that while I was doing shows, he was kind of entertaining them while I was on stage and things like that. So it's definitely a challenge trying to do it with kids this little. But I think it kind of adds to my drive for me, not just as an artist, but as a woman. I've always felt that it's very important to just share my experience openly and honestly that, it isn't perfect and it is messy. And can be very, very challenging, but by no means does that should that negate women from moving in these circles. I think it's all the more reason that we should be moving in these circles. Elle King, who's this fantastic country music artist, she just went on tour with her 1-year-old and was very open about it. And I just think it's fantastic that there are a lot more female artists who are like, nope, I'm going to bring my kids with me on the road. I'm not leaving them at home with a nanny. They're coming with me. And showing other people in the industry and other industries that you can be a mom and work as long as people make space for you to just, bring them with you.
That's very true because that's such is life, right?
Yes,
You can't really turn away from what's real. You can have a very successful career, for example, at workforce or as an entertainer, and your house and your kitchen can be messy.
absolutely.
Such is life, right? Yeah, it's just a sign that you're trying to do your best in both. You want to be a very amazing artist, successful artist, but you don't want to definitely neglect your children.
And it's the entertainment industry. It's show business. So a lot of it is showy. You put on the costumes and the makeup and you go on and you're giving people a presentation of an image or a brand. And that the whole point of it is to be entertaining. But I think at the end of the day as well, we want to connect with artists that we enjoy listening to their music. We want to connect with them and see them as a real person. And I think it's important to also share that with people because I think nowadays with, the explosion of social media and so many young people and women and other people just existing in their lives are watching these things and maybe getting a false image of these realities. And I think that impacts feeling, not good enough of, oh, look at this person on TikTok. She looks like she's got it all together. And I mean, at the end of the day, the truth of it is none of us really have it all together. We just do our best. It brings that connection that we all share. At the end of the day, we can all take off our costumes and wash off our makeup and we go home and that's exactly what you said. Sometimes there's dishes piling up in the sink, and that's what you want to do as an artist. You want to connect with people. You want to reach out to them in some way and say something that is going to resonate with them.
How far into your career are you looking?
What they say, try and set the bar high and hope for the best. I do have a lot of things coming up in the next year that I'm recording more music. I'm working with a Canadian producer who's doing like a bit of a songwriting mentorship with me, which has been pushing me in as an artist in some really challenging ways, but in really good ways. But my hope is that, every artist, I think we aspire just to write that one song, just that one special song that, is going to reach a wide audience of people. So at this point, I'm just kind of taking it day by day and enjoying the successes as they come. And
very true. We can't ever be successful all by ourselves. We have our supporters, our family, our loved ones, our producers, of course, publicists like Lisa Warter. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
Thanks so much for bringing us together. Here we are, and we're missing you a lot. Hopefully you'll come visit Canada again.
Yeah, she needs to get back to Vancouver. Come visit all of us.
We got to get together. Okay, and before we end the show, Melissa, what is something that you'd like to share, like a message?
I guess if I could share one message as an artist, my heart truly lies in kind of supporting the underdog. And so I think for so many people out there who have a passion, it's easy to kind of look at the people who are currently out there in the industry and not see yourselves or see yourself in that. So if there's not a spotlight on the path that you want to take, just make it for yourself. Because somebody's got to be first to do it, and don't ever let that bar you from pursuing your dreams. Just go out and do it.
Very beautiful. You have your own road, you have your own light, right?
Exactly.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Melissa, today. It was lovely speaking with you and meeting your beautiful children. I'm sure that I will be seeing more of you and them down the road. I hope that a lot of people out there will get to know you more and listen to your song, because you have just such a beautiful story to share through your voice and through your song.
Much. Thanks for having me.
Well, you take care. Bye for now. More
Bye.
success.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.